Hello and welcome to Freedom News, the news you can use to help keep Canada free. Today I have a story from the CBC. I know it's the CBC, but hey, I found it. But how the Conservatives had planned to have a marathon voting on Opposition Day, something that the Liberals have brought in to try and stifle opposition from doing their job. That would have been Monday. They were planning to have another marathon voting session to delay the budget because they want Jody Wilson-Raybould to testify again. Now I shall read from this article on the CBC. The Liberals have stepped in to thwart Conservative plans to stall the federal budget in retaliation if the Liberal majority on the House of Commons Justice Committee blocks Jody Wilson-Raybould from testifying again. On Sunday, finance critic Pierre Poilievre said his party would use every parliamentary tool in the toolkit to end the cover-up and let her speak about the ongoing SNC-Lavalin affair. The Conservatives were set up to potentially trigger a marathon voting session in the House of Commons on Monday that would have delayed the tabling of the budget until the government stepped in. Because these tactics are only allowed to be on set opposition days, where the other parties get to set the agenda and set the topic for debate, the Liberals tweaked the schedule to make Wednesday the opposition day instead of Monday. They then informed the other parties. Our government will act responsibly to ensure the budget, which will help Canadians, is introduced on Tuesday as planned, Mark Kennedy of the Government House Leader's Office said in a statement to CBC News. Conservatives had tabled opposed votes. Conservative House Leader Candice Bergen accused the Liberals of trying to cover up Trudeau's involvement in the SNC-Lavalin affair. We know Mr. Trudeau is desperate to change the channel on the SNC-Lavalin affair, but Canadians have legitimate questions and they won't be distracted by his budget, she said in a statement. The Tories have put forward opposed votes on previously announced federal initiatives, each of which would have necessitated a vote in the House. They labeled 257 opposed votes for Monday, but now can only act on them on Wednesday. Each of these votes is a fiscal matter, so every vote is a vote of confidence, which would keep Liberal MPs close to their seats. A loss of confidence could trigger an election. Because of the sheer number of votes, the sitting of the Commons could have extended overnight Monday, similar to what the Conservatives did last March in retaliation after Liberals opposed having Trudeau's National Security Advisor talk to a committee about his India trip. If the sitting was extended, it could have potentially delayed the budget. But the point Andrew Scheer's party is trying to make is more about SNC-Lavalin than the budget. All eyes should be on those closed doors at the Justice Committee meeting, Poilievre said. If the Prime Minister thinks Canadians will quietly let him shut down the investigation, he's in for a terrible surprise next week. The committee is scheduled to meet in private Tuesday morning ahead of the unveiling of the federal budget for 2019. The former Justice Minister and Attorney General addressed the committee last month, offering unprecedented testimony alleging the Prime Minister, members of his top staff, and other government officials had pressured her to help secure a special legal agreement for SNC-Lavalin through the Director of Public Prosecutions. The company is facing bribery and corruption charges that could lead to it being barred from bidding on federal contracts affecting thousands of jobs, which is not true. Our CBC spewing a lot of known fake news. Big time. Like I said, I know this is the CBC, so you guys know the BS as well as I do. So eat the meat, throw out the bones. Budget interrupted. Budget 2019 comes in a high-stake election year and could be as much about shoring up sliding Liberal support as it is about fiscal policy. Wilson-Raybould said she was only able to address the events surrounding SNC-Lavalin that happened before she was shuffled out of the Attorney General's position. I'll interject here that there is more that she wants to be able to say that happened after that. And that is what Trudeau is preventing her from being able to speak about and what the Conservatives want her to be able to speak on. So a very good reason for the marathon voting scenario that should have happened yesterday, but the Liberals put a stop to because they're chicken. During his appearance, Gerald Butts, the former principal secretary to Trudeau, spoke of things that occurred after the move. In a letter to her constituents this week, the Vancouver MP said she had more to say on the topic. Opposition MPs called an emergency meeting of the committee on Wednesday to debate whether to allow her to speak again, but the Liberal majority shut it down within 30 minutes. And it was an outright disgrace of our democracy. Liberal MP Francis Duran, who triggered the sudden adjournment, if he's your MP, call him up and give him what for, of the meeting, insists there's been no attempt by the government to cover up the SNC-Lavalin affair. Yeah, and I'm Napoleon Bonaparte. And says it's time to turn the page on the controversy. No, it's not. We haven't finished the job yet. There's still more to be known. Anyways, I think I've heard enough, he said in an interview with CBC Radio's Ottawa Morning. Ms. Wilson-Raybould has said in response to Elizabeth May and Nathan Collins that nothing illegal was committed, nothing criminal was committed. Well, I'm sorry, but this is my opinion. I'm sorry, but that's not up for the former Attorney General to say. That indeed is up for the RCMP to say, and she knows that quite well, and it is up for the Crown prosecutors who used to sit under her, as well as for a judge. It is not up for her to determine that. Even if she was still Attorney General, she would not be allowed to determine that on her own. That is a matter for the whole judicial system of our country. So for the Liberals to go on that is outright ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. I sure hope that somehow the Conservatives will manage to fit in their marathon voting scenario, perhaps Wednesday. I wish them the best of luck to holding this government to account. It has not been easy, but there are still plenty of tools in their toolkit that they have access to, and I'm sure they will use every single one. Well, that's all I have for today. Like if you like, share, comment, and of course, subscribe. And remember, working together, we can help keep Canada free. Thank you, and have a good day.